Well, today is a Sunday, and I'm going to take this opportunity when I see no, huge election updates other than the president confirming, as I suspected, that he will not declare martial law and that that's fake news. Glad to hear that. But there's a lot of other important stuff going on under the surface that, is still big news. But I mean, it's been. I feel like it's been buried by all this election stuff, and that is the new Russia hoax, or what is potentially a Russia hoax. We're being told, I'm sure you've heard of the SolarWinds hack and all this stuff, that the Russians are again, infiltrating our country. You have senators calling it a Russian invasion. You have Mitt Romney all up in arms saying, oh my gosh, how has the White House not done anything about this? There are people calling it the cyber Pearl Harbor. And whenever you hear establishment hacks or military-industrial complex toadies using the term Pearl Harbor, that's a big, big gate for them. Because to them, Pearl Harbor was a ticket or coupon to get them whatever they wanted. It is a certificate for endless war. That's why back in the 90s, before we got 9/11, the Project for a New American Century said, what does this country really need? We need a new Pearl Harbor to wake up the American people so that we, the military-industrial complex, can again do whatever we want and have, carte blanche to wage endless war to the ends of the earth. And so, for, the last 30 years or so, you've had these cybersecurity experts from the government telling us, oh my gosh, there's going to be a cyber Pearl Harbor. And when we say it's a cyber Pearl Harbor, you know what that means. That means that is an excuse for the government to do whatever they want overseas. It's a reason why you can never bring any of the troops home. It's a reason why your not only your sons, but your grandsons and your great-grandsons will die in Afghanistan, or at least be mentally scarred after, burning up a whole village of people with a flamethrower. And so now, lo and behold, Trump is almost out of office as far as they're concerned. He's going to be gone. Remember, as soon as Trump's out of office, we'll never hear from him again. We'll be able to sweep him under the rug. And then, we can get back to business as usual. So they're setting that up so that they can have a great way to put Russia back in the spotlight. As soon as January 20th rolls around, Joe Biden can come out and maybe make this big inauguration speech saying how Russia is so bad. Even though we're being told that they did all these naughty deeds without evidence. The government never needs to provide evidence when they're accusing somebody of a crime. But if you're an individual person and you're accusing the government of doing bad things, you need lots of evidence. And again, I'm troubled with all of this Dominion stuff to see the right going down a similar road to where they are, without any evidence that I've seen. Perhaps you're saying, okay, well, you have to wait for the forensic investigations of the machines. Yeah. Whatever. For now, I have no reason to believe that Venezuela and China hacked the election. I have no more reason to believe that than to believe that Russia hacked the 2016 election. And there were Democrats in 2016 that wanted to seize the voting machines and prove that Russia had, changed the by count. I mean, all that went on back in 2016, okay? This wasn't that long ago. You just changed the names. This is not a healthy thing because this doesn't empower anyone. That's not actionable intelligence, in other words. If you're an ordinary American or whatever and somebody's telling you, oh, Russia's hacking us, or China's hacking us, or Venezuela's hacking our system, we need to do something about it. Well, what's an ordinary American supposed to do? We have no control over Venezuela or China or Russia. All we can do in that case is give more power to the current regime so that they can go off and, fight against China and Venezuela and Russia for us. You see how this game is played? They want you furious at foreigners, people who have no direct control over your life, so that you forget that the people who really are hurting you, that the people who do have control over you, are right here at home. It's our own elites. Even in the age of wokeism, our elites still want to get us angry at the other so that we don't look up. They want us to look across the ocean. They want us to look down across the Caribbean. That's where they want us to look for our enemies. And of course, the reason they're able to do this is, because the wokeism stuff only applies to certain groups. So the Russians, they're white. The Chinese, they're Asian. They're basically white. I mean, they're almost whiter than the white people since they get better test scores. And Venezuela, well, they kicked out ExxonMobil, so I mean, they're basically demons. So you get Dick Durbin and Mitt Romney coming out and saying, "Oh my gosh, Russia's declared war on us. We're at war with Russia." Trying to stoke up all this dangerous rhetoric. You never hear the press saying that people like Dick Durbin have dangerous rhetoric or that they're stoking hate. It's only when Trump says far more mild things about people in our own country, about people who actually do have an effect on us. Only then does the media take issue. And so I don't like where this is going. I don't like it one bit. I think this is a major distraction, and it just reeks of the kind of disinformation campaign that the U.S. intelligence community is so skilled at. We're supposed to believe that Russia is smart enough to, hack into our agencies, but they're dumb enough to leave, a trail of breadcrumbs behind, so that the U.S. intelligence community, who is dumb enough to get hacked, but smart enough to follow the trail of breadcrumbs left by Russia. It just, it doesn't really add up. And, a lot of people, I think, have made hay over the fact that the U.S. really does, or I shouldn't say the U.S., certain elements of the establishment, particularly the Democrats, really stress the threat of Russia for some reason over China. And you would think, well, China's an actual, big, powerful country, wouldn't they be a bigger threat? And Russia is weak and powerless, why wouldn't they stress the China thing? And I think that the reason why is not so much that, all these people are paid China shills, which, that might be the case to some extent, since China has real money to hand out to people. But I think that the easiest solution is that the reason why they pick on Russia so much is because Russia can't fight back. Russia is a weak, tired old country that has no power. So the U.S. can, domestically just point their finger at Russia and shout Russia, Russia, Russia all day, and Russia's not going to do anything about it. All, Putin can do is just stand there, menacingly, as Patrick would say. And so he makes the perfect boogeyman for much of the U.S. establishment to try and, again, keep people's eyes focused overseas at imaginary Russian enemies. Try and make them think that there's a Russian hiding behind every bush. And then, no pun intended, by the way, with the Bush thing, and then use that fear of people to try and, capitalize it, to try and build some sort of unity in the country around hating Russia. Countries like Venezuela and Iran do this quite effectively when it comes to hating America. Why do they have these Death to America rallies in Iran? Well, because it unites the whole country. Because people who might not like the Iranian government, can still show up to that and say, well, gee, I'm not a fan of the mullahs, but I don't want to be controlled by, Americans. I don't want to be invaded by America and have some Augusto Pinochet person running my life, taking orders from Washington. And so in that way, the Death to America stuff in America, or in Iran and Venezuela and Cuba and all that, that strengthens the home regime. It strengthens the ruling regime to have that boogeyman. So America, of course, wants the same thing. They want to be able to have, Death to Putin rallies. Although, thankfully, things haven't gotten that absurd in this country yet. So when addressing this whole hack situation, I would recommend to just try and, keep your eyes open and be wise to how this, whether it's true or not. Because, again, I can't deny that it's true, because we've seen no evidence. But I also have no reason to believe that it is true. Be wise of how this is being used by your betters, by the elites, to make the population, the domestic population, a bit more docile. So with that said, if you get anything of value out of this video, I'd appreciate you clicking that like button, sharing this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe because I do upload every day, and I'd hate to have you miss one. So I'll see you folks back here tomorrow.